Well, we have a week of 4 of Married at First Sight. Our first big couple to couple conflict. One couple basically calling it quits. I mean, we said that last week, but still, Jasmina and Michael had their first little tiff. And yeah, let's just get into the couples. We'll start with Alyssa and Chris. Um, right from the start, Alyssa is not handling the situation well. She just won't tell Chris anything. Like, how is he supposed to have any clue what's going on if, like, she won't even tell him? Like, she just came across as a horrible person this episode. There was a comment from Chris that he feels like he's getting gaslit. And, he absolutely is. Like, there's nothing he can do right. And, she's just trying to basically trick him into all these negative things. She baited him with that question on where he called her a liar. And, it's just disgusting behavior. Like, I hope that her friends and family see how she acted through this and they think differently of her, because those are not the qualities of a nice person. And to me it all boils down to, she's not attracted to him. She wanted some 6'5" guy with washboard abs, all muscled up, absolutely drop dead gorgeous. She didn't get it, and she's just looking for excuses to bounce. Sitting at, like, watching the breakfast where Alyssa's family is already, like, trying to fix the relationship before it's even started. It was kind of sad to watch. Like, it was almost like they've seen her do this before, and being kind of stuck to go pick up the pieces. Yeah, well, Alyssa, like, she's just looking for problems. She's looking for reasons to justify her behavior. And, it's very, very toxic. I did notice that Alyssa was very quick to say yes to that vacation, though. Like, looked like she's all ready to shut her down, but it came time to, the honeymoon. She's like, yep, we can go on the honeymoon. We can get on the plane and fly to the beach. Just gross. Like, in the end, I don't think Alyssa had the faintest clue what this process was. Like, she's saying things like, "Oh, I would never stay in the same room as someone I just met." That's like half of the process. Half of the process is spending time with your partner, being forced into those uncomfortable situations, being forced to sleep in the same room on your wedding night, and she won't. But I bet if he was smoking hot, that she would change her attitude real quick. I'm so done with Alyssa. Never even gave Chris a chance. Like, feel absolutely horrible for him. And that's not to say that he's like this great guy, this ultimate catch or anything. He's just somebody who wasn't even given a chance, and very, very sad, because he was very clearly ready to jump headfirst into this process. And I think that you could have paired him with, like, any other sane person. Like, if we go back to the matchmaking special, I think there was a lady that they almost paired with Mark, who seemed like just a nice woman. Like, if you would have paired her with Chris, I think they'd be totally fine right now. And honestly, like, almost wish that the experts could just intervene, like, right now, kick Alyssa off the show, and just be like, "Hey, we're really sorry about that, Chris. Let's, if you're up for it, let's just fire this thing back up with a new partner." Would be very interesting. Married at First Sight first, and would just like take away the power from Alyssa to just rob this experience from Chris. All right, done with them. We're gonna kind of get in a little bit into the feud now. We'll start with Lindsay and Mark. First thing I noticed here is when Lindsay is just actually, or not being vulgar, like, she's actually nice. Like, when she was sitting there with Mark's friends, like she seemed like a nice person who would be enjoyable to spend time around. You know, the previous episodes we'd just seen a vulgar Lindsay, and I don't know if that is alcohol related, comfort related, you know, what that is. But when she's not having that attitude, actually seems like a nice person. There was a comment about Mark the Shark having a suitcase of goldfish, and I assumed that it was some like very just not funny like shark joke. Like, oh, he's a shark, he has to bring goldfish to eat. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then they like 10 minutes later in the episode, they showed the shot of his suitcase actually being full of goldfish snacks, and that's absolutely amazing. Like I would have never thought that that's what someone would think to pack for this journey, like for their honeymoon. Like, I'm gonna need 10 bags of goldfish. Kind of hilarious. Let's jump over to Christina and Isaac, and then we'll jump back to the conflict. Right out of the gate, I just want to say I feel bad for Christina. I've said this each and every review so far. You know, she seems amazing and seems like she's ready for this process, ready to jump in. I think that she almost has her blinders on a little bit with Isaac, and you know, I really just feel bad that that's the guy she got stuck with, because everything we're seeing is he is not ready for marriage. He's not ready for a serious relationship. And I think he needs to spend years working on himself to get to that point. You know, to me, Isaac is a creep. That is the way, like how he talks to people and what we see. Like he just can't help himself by like sitting down with Katina's friends and family and has to make that comment like about how luscious or soft her lips were, like in a sexual manner. And you know, there's so many other ways to approach that situation. You know, can say, hey, we didn't have sex, but really got to use the most of our time getting to know each other. Like so many million different ways. Instead of, oh, we didn't have sex, but oh, I got to explore her luscious lips. Just so creepy to me. Really did not like that. Isaac's mom did not say that she thought he was ready to be with one woman. I thought that was very interesting. His mom danced around that question. So his mom probably does not believe in her heart that Isaac is ready to settle down. And I think we've seen that from pretty much all of his friends and family, that like they almost think that this is some sort of prank that's being pulled on them for him jumping into this process. And then also when Isaac was meeting with Katina's friends and family, he said he was doing this process to try something new. And like that should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about how successful this relationship is going to be, if getting married is something he views as just trying something new. One last thing for them before we go loop back to the conflict, and that was Isaac seemed a little offended that Katina wanted to approach things with a little bit of caution. And I think a little bit of caution is exactly what you need in this process. Like yeah, it's great that you're going to commit to the process, but that doesn't mean that the person you're matched with is automatically going to be the perfect person for you. You know, just because you're using the labels husband and wife doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. And you know, I hope that Katina does open up through this process, but to come in with a little bit of caution makes a lot of sense to me. Now, all right, let's loop back to the conflict. And first off, I really wish that we would have seen the exchange between Isaac and Lindsay. It was a little unclear what happened. You know, it seemed like there was a conversation around what language people were going to speak in Puerto Rico. and Lindsay made some comment along the lines of that people should speak their native language in Puerto Rico. And I don't know how that escalated from there to Lindsay and Mark riding on a different bus, and Isaac really like getting heated in that van with everybody else. Katina was also getting heated. Like, I wish that we would have really got to see what happened, what that interaction was. Somebody else said that like Isaac was getting threatening and puffing up his chest and like looked like he was ready to fight Lindsay. I don't really understand that, especially when everything just gets smoothed over by Mark just coming down and saying, hey, we all could have handled that a little better. Hope that we can put this behind us. And like in that moment, Isaac and Katina were like, yeah, it's great. That's wonderful. And like, we all know this is going to flare back up. Isaac is not going to let this rest. He's definitely gonna stir things back up again with Lindsay, and we're definitely gonna get another blow up between the two couples before the end of the honeymoon. I did appreciate how Mark tried to handle things, removed Lindsay from the situation, because like he said, Lindsay is always on 10, so that could be something that really escalated the situation, took it from something minor, a minor misunderstanding, to being blown way out of proportion real quick. And totally understandable from what we've seen that Isaac and Lindsay's personalities just do not and will not mix. And then also Mark coming down and being the one to extend that olive branch to Isaac and Katina. I did appreciate that very much so. Let's move on from there. Jasmina and Michael. I really like Michael's attitude. It just feels like he's going into this with the right mindset, with being open, but also being a little realistic to what the situation is. That there is going to be problems. It's not all going to be perfect. And I just thought it was interesting that things got kind of framed to us as Michael kind of having the negative approach, the negative attitude, Jasmina coming in with the open, positive attitude. Meanwhile, we see their families, and Michael's got that positive, loving family, while Jasmina had that negative, things are going to turn out poorly, we don't trust you kind of family. And like the two of them coming into this with really the opposite. Very interesting to me, and it did lead to their first little bit of conflict. But one thing I want to point out here is in our big season preview at the start of the season, where they kind of showed like each and every couple, having their really bad down moment. Next episode, where Jasmina and Michael are sitting there having dinner, I believe that's what was shown as the big negative moment for that couple. So kind of leads me to believe they're going to have this negative moment here, but they might not have another real bad moment for the rest of the season. And gives me hope that they will make it. Another thing I want to mention here is loved seeing how Jasmina responded to Michael's family, two of his sisters, and them basically like saying that they loved her dress and that they love her, and like they're so happy that she's part of the family. And like she really, to me, blossomed from that. They cut to the little diary cam of Michael and Jasmina right after meeting the families, and Michael was like, oh, I got a lot of work to do to win them over. And Jasmina's just like, I already won them over. I did enjoy that, and I still have a very positive feel for this couple. Lastly, Noi and Steve. First thing I want to say is, kiss hope I did that justice, Noi. If I didn't, just let me know. I'll try better next time. I do appreciate that Noi is at least trying to roll with everything, trying to embrace the journey. You know, there was a little bit of negativity that popped up this episode over the job stuff, but she's still going into this, you know, with an open mind, an open heart, even if like she knows that the job thing is going to be a problem at some point. One line, I think it was said by Noi's mom, if you're gonna have a baby, you have to have a job first. Like just straight to the point with Steve. Very much enjoyed that. Sriracha tried to come on hot at Steve, but I don't think that Sriracha was quite effective. Maybe at trying to ask the hard questions, but even afterwards, Steve said, yeah, Sriracha could have came at me a little harder. I would like to see Noi be a bit more direct, because like we already brought the job thing up. I think it is going to be an issue from some point, and it's very clear to me that Noi wants Steve to get a job, but also doesn't want to tell him that she wants him to get a job. Just wants him to kind of figure that out on his own to get to that point. And, you know, I don't know if that's the best approach. I think that if you say to him, hey, if we're going to start a family, I really want you to have a full-time job. That's not too ridiculous to ask, I don't think, if it's something that's important to her, and that financially that's something that they would need. I think that I'm going to wrap things up there for this week. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of these couples. Let me know who's going to make it, who's not. And until next time, we'll see you later.